6, but you wouldn't rule him out, so maybe a really strong test will not be his bag. As Middle-earth comes forward into the stalls and we settle back to enjoy the 248th St Leger. Let's see how it plays out with Mike Catamol.
Set to go then for the 2023 Betfred St Leger, and away they go. Over this iconic extended 14 furlong trip, and a nice break by Chess Piece on the outside of Denmark in the blue cap, who begins to immediately serve his intentions and is alongside Gregory in the early stages. Should be a good pace on here. Chess Piece in third. Frankie's got a rest in fourth place, with next to the rail the pink cap of Alexandroupolis. Continuous is taking a little bit of a grip in the early part of the race. Desert Hero looks relaxed next to the rail. And then Tower of London last but one, and Middle-earth is locked away in last place for Oisin Murphy, about 7 lengths off the speed as the runners race away from the grandstands and heading down the back straight here. They're about to take the left-hand turn, which will take them through their first half mile of the contest. It's Denmark then in front for Danny Tudhope, taken on by Gregory on the inside there, Kieran Schumacher. Chess Piece racing in third for James Doyle as they cross over Rose Hill on the far side. They're followed then by Alexandroupolis and Arrest, and Frankie Dettori in fifth place under restraint. Arrest on the inside then is the Royal runner Desert Hero Tom Marquand, and then right behind these two is Continuous and Ryan Moore. Middle-earth has just made a bit of a forward move, relegating Tower of London to last place in what looks to be a fairly generously run race so far. They've gone off pretty quickly here. It's going to be a proper stamina test as they go through the more or less the halfway stage of the contest here. So moving across the far side of Town Moor in the Betfred St Leger of 2023. It's still Denmark on the outside of Gregory, only a bob of the heads between them. Right behind them poised is Chess Piece. A length and a half away then is Alexandroupolis, and then Frankie tracking that one with Arrest on the outside of Desert Hero. And then they followed them by Continuous and Tower of London, and Middle-earth just being squeezed along now by Oisin Murphy as they come into view of the grandstands with 5 furlongs left to go. They're turning into the home straight now in the Leger. 8 lengths would cover the field. Who's going best? Out in front here is Denmark. Gregory cruising on the inside for Kieran Schumacher in the red cap. Now angling for run Alexandroupolis. Continuous is being asked a few questions by Ryan. Chess Piece, and then Frankie on the outside with the rest. Now starts to make giant strides, followed by Desert Hero. Tom Marquand just shut in slightly there. Tower of London on his outside. They're inside the final 2.5 furlongs in the St Leger, and making his bid for glory is Continuous. Arrest is chasing him down in second place, followed on the outside by Tower of London, but Continuous seems to have the Leger within his grasp as they approach the final furlong. Desert Heroes plugging away back and forth, but Ryan Moore and Continuous are pouring it on in the closing stages here. Arrest and Frankie can't do anything about it, and Continuous, he's all out though, but he's going to win it really well. Takes us at Leger. Number 7 for Aidan O'Brien. Arrest was second. Desert Hero ran on nicely behind them, with Tower of London and Gregory in a super renewal of the world's oldest classic.
It's a 7th St Leger for Aidan O'Brien, who wins it with Continuous, and Ryan Moore, he did stay the trip and he stayed it well.
Stayed it so strongly in a well-run race and a really good renewal of the St Leger, but Continuous has stamped his class on proceedings at the finish. Came on from the Great Voltager and disposed of the similar standard field in even better style today.
Arrest finishes in second. Frankie's fans disappointed today, but I think a really good run from Desert Hero, Seb, who looked like he was going to be well beaten, but he stuck to his task well.
He stays really well and has run an exceptional race to finish third. But I like Ryan's manoeuvre at the top of the straight.
Yep.
He could have took the easy option and followed Arrest through, but he didn't. He switched back to the inside, and although he had there was a fraction there where you think, oh, you're going to get stuck in a jam here. He had plenty enough horse to get out of it, but that was a really good move to make life a lot easier for himself. They weren't going to fan out up the middle of the track, and I thought that was a very, very good winning move to save a bit of energy.
It's interesting to see how this race was run, Jamie, because we expected that it might be a reasonably slowly run race, but it didn't seem to pan out that way.
And that tells us that Ballydoyle had full faith in Continuous's stamina, because they set it up to really test stamina. They could have left Gregory alone, but they didn't. Denmark was the one to press him, and we could see those red sectionals through the first half of this race, furlong after furlong, telling us that they were going quick. Look at Continuous here. You can see him, Seb, and Ryan is just, his hands are just helping the horse relax at that critical stage.
I mean, it just eases him back. And the thing is, when your horse is keen, you just want to keep just backtracking a little bit so you get a bit of cover and get it switched off. But Ryan's biggest danger was arrest. Right? On the paper, that's what they thought. And when he got in behind into the slipstream of arrest, he was in control of his own fate. But that manoeuvre, I thought, at the top of the straight was a really good move.
Why was it such a good move, Seb?
Because he realised that Gregory is going to get him to the 2 furlong marker, and he thought everything was going to stay off the rail. They ran to come up the middle of the track, and he knew it wasn't detrimental to his chances staying on that far rail.
Storyboard horses in second and third. Frankie's final classic, it goes down all guns blazing on arrest, and Desert Hero has worn those colours with honour, but this is about class. And the other little subplot here is the Japanese influence in racing in Europe nowadays. Auguste Rodin, the most important horse for Ballydoyle, he is by Deep Impact, and a classic winner, another classic winner by the only horse to have ever beaten Deep Impact in Japan, that was Heart's Cry.
Yeah, it's taken us a little while, Seb, but I think that we're finally showing a huge respect to Japan as a racing nation.
It's been exceptional for years, but it's took them a fair while to sort of come out of their own shell. I mean, it's only been the last 2 or 3 years that we're seeing all these real top-class horses. They've always been there, and the pedigrees they've had over the years, I mean, we're going back to the likes of King Mambo and Sunday Silence. I mean, and they are the 2 standout stallions that most of these horses are by or bred from.
But of course a huge risk, but Ballydoyle have been taking it to send these mares to Japan to visit these top stallions.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, as with Coolmore and Godolphin and whatever, they realise they've got to cross the divide and chop and change the stallions to try and get a better model.